The latest surge of thousands of Central and South American migrants is on the move now, heading toward the U.S. border. They don't care about the enormous humanitarian, political, and logistical nightmare they've touched off. They just want to get in.
It's the first Christmas that we spent away from home, and not in the best way, as we expected to give the best to our children. But this time, it was our turn, and here we are, doing our best and going ahead, as God is helping us.
America's top diplomat, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, was among U.S. officials who met with Mexican President Andrés Obrador on Wednesday. There are some ideas the U.S. is pressing Mexico on, keeping or moving migrants farther south in Mexico, away from the U.S. border, providing migrants with visas to give them an incentive to stay in Mexico, and taking more control of their trains, which migrants often ride toward the U.S. But Mexico doesn't have the resources or the infrastructure that the U.S. has to handle the influx. This month alone, the number of migrants crossing the border has sometimes exceeded 10,000 in one day. And they are still braving the fast-moving currents to cross the Rio Grande River into Texas. The U.S. is occasionally closing international bridges between the two nations as a way to pressure Mexico to do more, but both nations get hurt economically when those bridges close. New York City, where thousands of migrants arrive each week, is so overwhelmed the mayor is now putting limits on how long migrants can stay in shelters, creating panic.
They told me that this country was different, but no. I tell my son, enjoy the hotel, that we have a roof right now. They're going to send us away, and we are going to be sleeping in the train or on the streets. And my son started to cry. And I said, let's have faith.
Mexican President Obrador says he wants to help, but he also wants to see the U.S. make diplomatic progress with Cuba and Venezuela, where most migrants are now coming from, along with more development aid for the region. Proof that this is no longer a border crisis, but a hemisphere one. Andy Roesgen, TRT World.